Hello there, Star Wars fans, and welcome back to another RebelScum.com video review. And this is one I've been looking forward to getting to for a minute now. Today we're reviewing the new Black Series Book of Boba Fett number 4 Deluxe Black Krrsantan. Now, as awesome as this figure is, this is another case where I don't feel like it should be a deluxe, especially considering other Wookiees that we've gotten in the Black Series 6-inch scale, which were mostly Chewbacca's or variants of that, including the first Black Series Krrsantan, which was a variant of Chewbacca. He's actually a little bit smaller, and those figures were not released as deluxe, so I don't get why Black Krrsantan was, because it's not due to an excess of accessories. But that aside, let's get into the packaging. You've got that picture of an action figure right there on the front, no bubble. On the side, you've got that side banner artwork. On the back, you got some words and things, another image of the action figure. And on this side, you have an image of the action figure, as well as his one blaster rifle that he uses in the Book of Boba Fett. So once again, he only comes with one accessory. So not quite a deluxe. Regardless, that's pretty much it for the packaging. And here he is out of the packaging. And this figure is such an improvement on the first comic pack release. And for comparison, here is that first comic pack release. Now, Black Krrsantan is a little bit shorter than Black Krrsantan here, which is the comic book version versus the live action version. Now, the comic book version had its share of inaccuracies. One of those apparently being a little bit taller, because Peter Mayhew is 7 foot tall. Carrie Jones, who portrayed Black Krrsantan in the Book of Boba Fett, is 6'7". And Carrie Jones will also be attending Rebel Scum Con 2024. So if you're excited to meet the one, the only Wookie gladiator that is Black Krrsantan, you can meet him at Rebel Scum Con 2024. Book your experience today at rebelscumconventions.com. Once again, that's rebelscumconventions.com, and you can also see the other 35 plus guests currently announced on Rebel Scum Con, as well as announced events, activities, panels, guest pricing, and more. Back to the figure here. Like I said, I'm not entirely sure if this is how the scaling would be, but based off of the actors who portrayed these two characters right here, which once again is Chewbacca and Black Krrsantan, Peter was 7 foot tall, where Carrie Jones is 6'7". So it would be understandable to assume that Black Krrsantan is shorter than Chewbacca, especially considering I couldn't find any actual height specs on Black Krrsantan in Star Wars canon, not relative to the actor, not even from the comic, unfortunately. So if somebody else has that information from some Star Wars official source, please feel free to list it in the comments down below, because I personally could not find it. So once again, that's one more inaccuracy to the comic book version to this one right here. Now, you can kind of still get away with it in the comic book version, because at different angles, there are moments where Black Krrsantan does kind of look a little smaller than Chewie, kind of looks about the same size as Chewie. There are some panels where he almost looks a little bigger than Chewie. So unfortunately, the comic wasn't very helpful in determining the size relative between Krrsantan and Chewbacca, especially since comics tend to have various different artists who have their own little take on their own art style and perspectives as well, which leads to those size inconsistencies. So I'm going to stick with the live action sizing that we actually have, and I will say until proven otherwise that Black Krrsantan is 6'7" and Chewbacca is 7 foot, leading Black Krrsantan to be just a little smaller than Chewbacca. Also for comparison, here he is next to his rival turned frenemy turned hirer, ally, whatever you want to call their relationship by the end of Book of Boba Fett. It was really cool to see Boba and Black Krrsantan not only duke it out on screen, but then later fight side by side at the end. Say what you will about the Book of Boba Fett as a whole, the action with Black Krrsantan was very cool. And seeing these two side by side is also very cool. I'm glad we finally got a proper Black Krrsantan in 6-inch scale and vintage collection as well. This figure is fully articulated. Head is on a ball joint. Now, the braids do get in the way of his head articulation just a little bit, but I do feel as though his head articulates just a little bit better than Chewbacca's does, because if you try Chewbacca's just a little too much, you're just going to pop the head off. Whereas with Krrsantan, you can kind of get it to turn all the way if you get those elbow pads out of his way. But it's still kind of difficult because you have those shoulder pads in the way. Now, on his back, he also has a cool little peg hole right here where you can store this big, awesome, long Wookie rifle that just pegs on like so. Fully articulated shoulders, but once again, those shoulder pads do get in the way. You do get a pretty good range of motion on those shoulders, though, to the side, more so than on the front. You can really just go forward and back, but you can't really do a full 360 with that armor. Elbow joints, swivel just above the elbow. Wrist joints, he does have the knuckle dusters, as they call them in the Book of Boba Fett, which are electrified brass knuckles, which those are awesome. Upper waist, hips, no upper thigh joint, but there's an inner thigh joint, single jointed knees, and ankle joints. So very articulated, and some of his articulation is a little bit nice and clear. Definitely not very stiff on this guy, which I really like, because sometimes those Wookiee figures can be a little on the stiff side. He may not be the biggest Wookiee in the galaxy, but he's definitely one of the coolest Wookiees in the galaxy, going from the comic book pages in the Darth Vader's comic to other comic book pages and spinoffs under the Star Wars Marvel comics, to making the leap to the big screen in the Book of Boba Fett series. I am so glad this character made the appearance that he did, and I'm super excited to meet and interview with Mr. Kerry Jones at Rebel Scum Con 2024. Once again, you can meet him there. Plan and book your trip today by going to rebelscumconventions.com. Once again, that's rebelscumconventions.com. And not only will you get to meet Mr. Kerry Jones, but you'll get to meet 35 plus other guest celebrities from all across the Star Wars saga, which is very, very exciting. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for more Black Series reviews. Stay tuned for some of our other content. Like and subscribe and follow us on social media so you don't miss that awesome review content. Check rebelscum.com daily for daily Star Wars fan content, whether that's toy news, reviews, or something else. Check out our sister website, cooltoyreview.com, for all kinds of awesome non-Star Wars toy review content, news, and more. And like and subscribe to the Cool Toy Review and Bay 12 YouTube channels for that non-Star Wars video toy review content specifically. If you're looking for some awesome Star Wars toys and collectibles in the meantime, check out our good friends over at BigBadToyStore.com. Big Bad Toy Store has a variety of Star Wars licensed toys and collectibles, as well as many other brands, of course, and they ship right to your door. In addition to that, you can check out our friends Order 66 Toys, the first official all-collectible Star Wars toy store. They go live every single Friday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time and have hosted over 300 consecutive Friday night live sales, shipping Star Wars toys and collectibles all around the world. Last but not least, don't forget to mark this guy off on your collectorsoracle.com profile. You can make a free account today, mark things in your collection, mark things you'd like to have in your collection, share those lists with friends, family, and social media alike, and once again, it's all absolutely free to use. We'll see you guys later. We'll see you another time. We'll see you at Rebel Scum Con with Kerry Jones, and may the Force be with all of you, you Rebel Scum.